Something that's bugging me about the Craftstrom kit, and it's also the reason why people buy it, because of the throttling. So you can see that during the course of a day here, I turned on a big load for a minute and it spiked up and produced extra power, but for the most part during the day, it was just kind of coasting until I got home from work, and then it kind of spiked up and helped offset things. But I only got like full benefit of the system for a very short period of time while the sun was shining. So you know me, I never like to accept the status quo. So that led me to start experimenting with batteries. I've currently only got one of the Craftstrom inverters hooked up, and it's a little bright out here, but you might be able to see we're actually pulling in over 400 watts of quote-unquote solar power, which it is, but it's just going through by way of the reservoir of the battery. And I think with this setup, you'd be able to basically run that inverter 24/7. It'll throttle itself like normal, all of that, but offset more power over a longer duration because it will run day and night now, as opposed to just when the sun is shining on the solar panels. And I just want to show you that the throttling does work. I went in and turned down the loads on level 1. You can see that the solar does throttle. Now we're down to 255 from 400. So the inverter still will throttle itself. Now let me insert here 2 important things. 1, Craftstrom makes some really nice batteries that have all the certifications, are 100% safe. They use lithium iron phosphate battery chemistry, and they interface with the inverters as well as with the smart power meter, and they can absorb the extra power when it's being generated and then discharge later on. What I'm about to go over is pretty advanced DIY stuff. It also exposes you to high voltage DC power as well as a little bit of AC power, so I'm just showing you this for entertainment purposes. Do not attempt what I'm about to show you because you could be severely injured, property damage could occur, or even death. And absolutely none of this has been tested or certified in any way, shape, or form. It's just a crazy guy on YouTube doing ridiculous experiments. And note that I'm doing this outside. I'm not going to do this in a building or anything because I don't want to risk something overheating or whatever and causing fires. In addition to your personal safety, Craftstrom does not endorse or recommend this at all. This could easily burn the inverter up. Hopefully not, because it will throttle and not be running at max power all the time. Should be designed for continuous duty of at least 350 watts, but you just never know. If you start using stuff outside of spec and things start to break, that's on you. So probably just steer clear of doing anything like this. Let me break my stuff and enjoy watching the videos about it over time here as I continue to play around with this stuff. And who knows, maybe we can get Craftstrom to work out some kind of system that would be in addition to the batteries that they already offer or something. But at very least, for your entertainment benefit, let me show you this crazy contraption I've got going here. If you've been part of the channel at all, you know I love my golf cart batteries. This is obviously one right here. Notice that it has a nominal voltage of 51.2 volts. At its highest voltage, it could reach up to 58 volts. However, you can control that with this device right here. This is an affordable MPPT solar charge controller. It's not branded this anymore. They've actually upgraded it to handle twice the amount of solar input. I'll leave a link for it down in the description, but I love this because it works for 12, 24, 36, and 48 volt batteries. So it's very flexible. It's also app controlled, and you can set the parameters for this. So for example, I've programmed this to not charge the battery above 56.8 volts. That's just to kind of keep things a little more in check for the inverters that are connected. And you can see here I've got one of the Craftstrom inverters connected up too. So the concept is simple. Could I put a battery in between the solar panels and the microinverter? That way the microinverter does its thing, it gets throttled and adjusts to the loads as needed, but it will actually run into the night, or with this size of battery probably through the entire night, continuing to offset the power consumption basically 24/7. And then as long as I get some decent sun here and there, I will get non-stop solar charging regardless of how much power the house is consuming, going from the solar panel down to the battery. These solar panels work too. In fact, that's one of the benefits of this charge controller is now instead of being restricted by 60 volts from the microinverter, we are now up to 150 volts VOC for this charge controller. So you can actually hook up more panels in series to this charge controller than you could connecting directly to a microinverter. And even though the charge controller and the battery add additional expense, and not by a small margin, I actually think it will actually speed up your rate of return, because now we're going to be operating and offsetting power basically 24/7 as opposed to just a couple hours here and there when the sun is shining. I estimate this will probably have more than quadruple the power that I will offset with the Craftstrom system. And so in theory, I could reduce my return on investment maybe by a half, because again, I've added some more expense with the batteries, but I think overall I'm still going to speed up my payback period. There are also side benefits to this. Use the battery on a day-to-day basis with your Craftstrom kit while the power from the utility is on, but maybe invest in a cheap off-grid 48-volt inverter. And so that way, if you have a grid down situation, you could actually just come and hook it up to the battery and pull power off the battery and still utilize the solar because it's going through the charge controller. Disconnect the grid tie system because that won't run without the grid, but you could let it serve two purposes, as not only a way to offset your daily power bill, but also be an emergency preparedness setup. There's a bunch of places that make golf cart batteries like this. I would recommend giving consideration to this style that has the ABS plastic case on it. I think it's going to be a lot more forgiving to just be outside, sheltered by a solar panel, versus one of the metal cases. A little higher risk of potential rust or whatever on the metal cases versus the ABS plastic. Plus the ABS plastic tends to run a little cheaper. I'm a big fan of Temgo just because their price point is right, but there's a variety of different brands that offer this style of battery. Off the top of my head, Temgo is one, All Pond is another, DC House is another. So I'm going to leave links to all of those down in the description. You can see which one has the better pricing at any given time. All of them, though, will have some kind of display, and I think that's handy. And it's bright out here today, but you can see, current state of charge, any power coming in or out, the battery voltage, the battery temperature. You can even control if it is discharging or charging, and you can see all the individual battery cells, which is pretty cool, and their voltages. Now, it's currently registering 0. Oh, there's a teeny bit of current, 0.12 discharging. Anyway, basically what's happening is I've got these panels hooked up here to the solar charge controller, and basically those are producing all the power that the inverter is consuming. So nothing is really actually going in or out of the battery at the moment. Now a little bit is coming out, but not by much. So if the battery is back, behind the solar panels and you don't have access to the screen, you can simply pull up the monitoring app and see currently I don't have any of the solar connected, and you can see we're pulling over 400 watts out of the battery right now by that microinverter. So anyway, kind of handy to have the monitoring. You can see your temperature, etc. So how this works is I've got obviously solar panels. They are coming and connecting into this solar charge controller, which is in turn connected to the battery. I've got this hooked up very, very temporarily just for testing, and I just have a master fuse here, but you should fuse not only the main cable here, but also the slightly smaller cable from the charge controller. So then also coming off the main terminals of the battery, here's the main positive coming from the battery, and then again you need to fuse the smaller cable here, but I can actually simplify this. I have it coming to these bus bars because I wanted to connect to one inverter, and then I also wanted to try to connect to a second inverter and to see if I could run the two microinverters that I have from Craftstrom off the one battery. Unfortunately, the answer to that is no, it doesn't work. And I'm not entirely sure why. I've had this happen before with other inverters, where if you connect them both to the same DC source, they can somehow detect that they're both connected to something that's the same, and they'll shut themselves down. That's not unique to these Craftstrom inverters. It's just kind of hit and miss. So if you're going to do an external battery, you need to have one battery for every single inverter. But I think that will work for you. Even if you don't get two batteries to begin with, if you have two inverters, they can still function independently of each other, and you could have just one inverter hooked up to a battery and a second inverter just hooked up to some solar panels. But I think a golf cart 100 amp hour battery paired with each of these inverters will be pretty much perfect. Let me do some math over here in the shade. First, take note, this Craftstrom inverter is rated to 350 watts. It will give you a little more occasionally, but generally speaking, 350 watts, if it's not throttled or anything. Capacity-wise on this battery, we're 51.2 volts, 100 amp hours. That equates to just over 5,000 watt hours of total storage capacity. And you can see I've just got one inverter there. The other one is disassembled, just laying here on the ground for a minute. And you can see here in the app that it's producing just over 400 watts by itself. So it will go over slightly what it's rated for. But for easy math, let's take the 350 watt continuous. And let's say that your house doesn't throttle it at all. Chances of that are very slim, but let's just pretend. 350 times 24 hours in a day equals 8,400 watt hours. So that holds just over 5,000 watt hours. So that's actually perfect, because don't forget that for a chunk of the day, you're going to be getting a bunch of watts from your solar. And then also don't forget that you're probably going to be throttling. So having just over 5,000 watt hours in a battery paired with each inverter, I think is the perfect size. Again, it might be slightly on the large side actually, but that will just help you get through, cloudy days or whatever. So I think the size of battery paired with each individual inverter is ideal. Don't forget, this is again over 5 kilowatt hours of storage. The Craftstrom batteries are actually just 1 kilowatt hour of storage approximately. So you're basically getting the storage capacity of 5 of the Craftstrom batteries in one of these. Now, I mentioned this idea to Craftstrom the other day, and they had already considered the concept. The reason they haven't done anything with it is because they have their roots back in Europe, where plug-in solar has been a thing for quite some time. And they said that out of all the issues they saw that came from plug-in solar, they were all pretty much exclusively caused by a battery setup like this, which I can totally understand. Makes total sense. Because now you're opening yourself up to all kinds of additional issues, loose connections, undersized, unprotected wires. You name it, there could be a problem. So be sure to do as I say, not as I do in this experiment here. Size your conductors correctly. Fuse every single one. Fuse the conductor going to your charge controller. Fuse the conductor appropriately that feeds the inverter. But remember that the inverter has these skinny PV wires, so that's the size you've got to fuse for. Make sure your connections are torqued down correctly. And then, as I said before, make sure this is outside, out of your house, out of your garage. I wouldn't even put it by a fence like this with, flammable bushes and whatnot. Probably safer clear out here in the middle of everything, just so that if you have a meltdown or an issue or something, your risk level for what could be damaged goes down substantially. Now, what about people like me that live in a cold climate? Lithium iron phosphate batteries do not like being cold. In fact, they'll refuse to take a charge below freezing. In that case, you may want to consider a heated battery. They're more expensive, but they are out there, and they'll actually use the power from the solar right at first when it starts going during the winter to turn on a heater inside the battery and heat the cells up above freezing, so then it can accept a charge and do what it needs to do. They can discharge below freezing pretty well though, so you could get power out of it probably all night even without it heated, and then before it starts to try to recharge, it will reheat itself from the solar panel. I'll leave a link to a self-heated battery down in the description as well, in case you wanted to look at it. All right, leave your comments down below on what you think of this setup. Do you guys agree that putting a battery in between the solar panels and the inverter would speed up your return on investment, even with the added cost of the battery? I think what I'm going to do is run this setup for a number of months with the default kit, just to see what kind of impact it makes on my power bill. And then what I'll probably do is switch and integrate the battery into it and let it run for a few months and see what kind of difference that makes. And we can compare and see if it makes any difference or not. I think that's what I'm going to do. So be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hype the video. YouTube isn't friendly these days for people that are just trying to bring pure education to people. It's always after the viral clicks and views and all of that. And solar and batteries are kind of boring. So please do those 5 free things just to help me and help the channel out so I can continue to bring this kind of educational content to you. Links to everything are down in the description, so be sure and check those out. I've also got links to the entire Craftstrom Solar playlist, so you can see all the videos about this system there. It's pretty epic. All right, everyone, stay safe, and we'll catch you all next time.